Are you looking for a job in data or aiming to get certified? In this video, we will introduce you to Microsoft Fabric for Data Analysts, a powerful tool that can help you streamline your workflow and get you one step closer to landing your next role. We'll walk you through its key features, show how it enhances your skills, and explain why it's essential for data professionals. Also, this topic is part of the DP-600 certification. So if you want to dive deeper, check out the blog in the description for more information. And that's not all. This video is just a glimpse of what's possible. If you're looking to take your career to the next level, just like Noya, Ankita, or Simran, join our free live masterclass on how to become an Azure Data Engineer, Data Analyst, or Data Architect. The link to register is in the description below. So let's get started.
So let us see what Fabric offers to the data analyst. Let's create a new workspace, Data Analysts Workspace. Make sure that it is allocated in the trial Fabric, and let's create. Here is our workspace. Like the way I am keeping the data in a folder on my workstation, I need somewhere to keep my files over here in the workspace. If you want to work with various kinds of files like Excel workbook, CSV, then we would need a place to keep all of them. Otherwise, if you have a database or you have a data warehouse, you could directly connect to it and get the data for reporting needs. Let's first of all bring the data that is locally on your development workstation into the workspace. So for that, we all know we need to create an item that's called as a lake house. Let's give it a name, my lakehouse 01. Lakehouse schemas are not required, so let's create the lakehouse, my lakehouse 01. And here is a lake house. Let me close all these other things. Now the lake house has been created. Lake house has two components in it. Exploring the data files and folders called as the lake house explorer. Currently we are in the lake house explorer. And then in order to query the delta tables lying in the lake house, we can use the SQL analytics endpoint, and that's the work of a data analyst. We have to query the things that we have as a delta table over here using the SQL analytics endpoint. So once we have created the lakehouse, let's bring sales.csv file into it, but manually or automatically? Automatically. So I want to bring the data over here under files. At the moment, it's totally empty. So let me click on get data and I see options like upload the files, start with some sample data, create a new data flow generation 2, create a new data pipeline, create a new shortcut, or create a new event stream. Uploading the files would mean you are manually uploading the files, like as if let's create a folder like new subfolder, like folders like customers, let's say folder, and then inside this folder you could say that I want to upload some files from my local development workstation, PL300 project files. Like I would like to load this Excel workbook manually. But I am fed up with all of this manual work. Okay. If I had to do all of this manual, then I think I don't need Fabric. I'm happy with Power BI desktop itself. I really would not need this thing called as Fabric if you really want me to do the things manually again. So obviously, please help me out how I could do this automatically. So let's create a folder first where we're going to bring the data. So I will say data folder. And the first part is orchestration, right? Orchestrate processes and data movement. But why? Because I don't want to get the data manually the way I do it in the Power Query, in the Power BI desktop, I'm sorry. If I have to do the things manually again, then I think I don't need Power BI. I don't need Fabric. If you really want me to leverage Fabric, please tell me how it is different from Power BI Desktop. In Power BI Desktop, I can get the data from so many different sources. No worries. I can get the data from so many different sources. But yeah, I know it's manual. Okay. There's no pipelining available as such in Power BI Desktop. But here, when we go to get data option, the folder we have, we see that there are options where we're going to have options pertaining to what? Pipelining and data flow gen 2. Let's look at a data pipeline first. Now, Fabric would be enabled for you by the Fabric administrator of your organization. If you go to fabric.microsoft.com and you log in with your corporate account, if you are allocated a free Fabric license by your organization in the M365, and your organization's Fabric administrator has enabled Fabric, then you would get the access to the Fabric, otherwise no. You would have to create a Fabric tenant for yourself. So our team would assist you how you could do a Fabric tenant, right? See, I also have a trial of it. In a similar way, you can also get a trial for it and then practice the hands-on. No worries on that front. Let's do a new data pipeline. Let's give this data pipeline a name. Get data from sources or source, let us say, single source. Here we go. Creates the pipeline. It says, you want to get a data from a source and that too periodically. Let us help you out. Please tell us what is your source. Here you can see all the Azure sources in my subscription. These are all the lakes in my subscription. Right here, if you see, these are all the lakes in my subscription. They say, hey, would you like to get some data from here? Or would you like to get some data from so many of these different sources? Folders on your file system, SQL Server databases, Oracle databases, IBM DB2. Look at the list, right? So such an expansive list. And more new connectors are getting added month on month. You would observe that more and more enterprise data connectors would pop up over here for you to leverage them as a part of your data ingestion process for data analytics. Some sample data is given to you if you could practice using that. Public holidays dataset, diabetes dataset, NYC taxi green database, retail data model from wide world importers, all of it is given to you. One lake, organizations, one lake is also observed here. One lake is the lake behind the fabric. So the entire fabric tenant of the company, the entire fabric tenant of an organization, an enterprise, all the projects within that company, all the items within their projects will be visible to you. You can use them. And here is the home page. So our data is in an HTTP server. So let's select that source, HTTP. It's on a server. So I would give them the name of the server, which is the GitHub server. Let's create a new connection. Let's give this connection a name, my GitHub server. Data gateway is not needed. Authentication kind, no sophisticated authentication is needed. Otherwise, you would have to provide the username and the password. Authentication kind is anonymous. Let's say next. Perfect. Is there any relative URL or whatever you gave on the previous page is the complete URL? Whatever I gave the base URL, that's complete. Request method, obviously get. Next. It automatically identifies. The file format is a CSV. It's a comma delimited file. The row delimiter is a new row, new line, or the carriage return line feed. First row is as a header. Compression is not there in your find. in your file, there is no kind of any compression. Then you can say next. Now it asks you, where do you wish to put it? Do you want to put it as a delta table called as a bronze delta table? Or would you like to put it as a file? I would like to put it as a file. You can put it directly to the bronze staging. There is no harm in doing that. You can load it directly to the bronze table. Okay. Okay. We can put it in the bronze table and then partition it on one of the partitioning column like our customer's name. So all the orders of a particular customer would sit in the same logical partition. So on the basis of the name of the customer, I could say I want to partition this data. So the data of all the same customers data would be in same logical partition. That is very beneficial when you do reporting. So we could partition also. That's one of the way to improvise and improve the performance of the reports. But let's put it in the files. Let's browse data folder. Okay. Give your file a name. I'm going to say sales.csv. Copy behavior. These are required when you are loading many files. This is required when you're doing a hierarchical file like JSON or XML. And this is when you want to preserve the JSON file as it is. Preserve the hierarchy. We don't need any of these in this scenario. And I say next. And they say, we are ready to do this one-time ingestion. And later you could schedule this to run periodically, maybe every 4 hours, every 8 hours, whatever the data is there in the server will be brought into this file. I will say start my transfer immediately. It's create an activity, copy EID. Here we go. Let's wait for it to run successfully. You can edit the data types, no worries. But since here we are mapping it to not a different destination, we are just copying it. So here we will not get an option. But when you put it in the table, then they will ask you, would you like to change the data type? For example, let me do that also for you. Meanwhile, if you observe, first observe this, that our pipeline ran successfully. So what it would mean is that our data would pop up. Refresh the page if you don't see, right? From here also you can refresh. As a CSV file, you just copied the file, right? So you're not going to get here an option to change the data type. But when you put it in the delta tables, then you will certainly get an option to say, I would like to change the data type of the column. Let's try that also. So let's go here. Here's the same pipeline, one activity. Let's do another copy activity. See here. So let's give this a name, copy files. Copy as a file. Copy as files. And let's give this a name, copy as a table. Copy as table. So let's do that. Let's do this as a demonstration. Tell where is your source. See, the source I would use the same. My GitHub server DS01Adam. My GitHub server DS01Adam, this one. My GitHub server DS01Adam. File format says binary CSV. It should be delimited. Okay, let's not change it, okay? By the way, it is delimited, so I would like to give it it's a CSV file, right? At the source. You can preview the data. It would show you how the data is in the source. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. This is what we have in the source. And I would like to move it where? In my Lakehouse. So I would like to say more in my Lakehouse, not a new Lakehouse, but here is the Lakehouse, my LKH01, inside my LKH01, but in a table, not in files, a table. So then I could say I want to create a new table. The table name is sales table, sales table. Would you like to overwrite the content of the table every time whenever we load the data, or whenever we load it, you just append the rows? I would like to append the rows. Why would I overwrite? Okay. I would not like to overwrite. I would like to append the rows. Overwriting would, right? Overwriting is done when we are creating aggregates. If I am computing total profit, every time the total profit change, I will have to overwrite. Otherwise, people would ask, what is this previous row of previous total profit? right? So when we maintain aggregates, then we do override. Otherwise, we'll have to do append always. Partitioning on the basis of the customer column. Here you could say, I want to do mappings. I would like to say that these are the column names and these are the data types in the source, the CSV file, this source. It says all the columns in your source are nothing but strings. But I would say sales order number is a string, sales order line number. So you could see that, right? You could decide that by looking at a sample of it. I could say sales order line number is an integer, right? This is a date. This is varchar, this is varchar, this is varchar, this is number, int, this is double, this is double. So you could change the data type. You could say, no, 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 this should be string, this should be an integer, right? I don't want it to be a string. Order date should be date. That should be date, certainly date. Customer name should be string, email address should be string, item should be string, quantity should be integer. Unit price, that should be double. Tax amount should be double. You could change it. You could say, I'm writing it to I'm writing it to a destination, which is a table. And what does this table means? Column name and data type. When you create a table, right? So here it will allow you, okay, you are not just copying the file here. Here it will not allow you. Here it will certainly tell you, hey, would you like to change the data types? So let's validate. Do we have any authoring error? No error. So we could connect them. So if this succeeds successfully, I would like you to do this also for me. Okay, let's save this out. So the orchestration is ready. We can place a schedule on it or run it manually or create various other kinds of triggers on it. Let's test it out whether it works. So let me remove this CSV file so that we could see that it comes to this files as well it goes into the table here. Right now everything is empty. So let's run it on demand, run. And now you can observe that we have completed our orchestration on demand. And we should observe the effect of it. So we should get, first of all, it as a file here, sales, and we should also see it under the tables. And in the tables, you're going to see that it's a delta table. The symbol signifies delta, right? So it's a properties is a delta managed table. And here data types are there. This column is a string, this column is an integer, this column is a date, this is a string, 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 integer, double, double. So when you write it to a table, then it would give you that option that, hey, you're writing it to a table, would you like to change its data type? So we can do it. So what we do in the Power BI desktop, the first step, the very first step, get the data. Yeah, that's all doable. Validate the source and check whether the data is there or not, right? So all those are different kinds of activities, right? Get metadata, lookup script, set variable. So yes, absolutely, right? So all of these can be done. Validation, right? So that whether there is a data or not, right? That's called as a validate activity, right? That's performed using lookups, get metadata, right? So yes, absolutely, you can do that. Now, the very first step in Power BI desktop, what we do is we say, I want to get the data, but manually. So what would Fabric give you as an advantage? You could stitch a pipeline. You could say, I want it to be given to me on schedule, right? I can run it manually, but I can put it on a schedule. That I want this data to come to me on a schedule, something like this, by every hour, every 2 hours, starting from tomorrow and for the next 1 month, apply. I want it to come every 2 hours for me. Run this pipeline every 2 hours for me. And I would like to promote this pipeline to be used by all others, recommending others to use. I'm not getting it certified because certification process is very scrutinized process, but I would like to at least communicate to my other data analyst friends and colleagues that you should use my pipeline if you want to consume the data assets for your analysis. Endorse the quality content so that your colleagues could discover it and leverage it. Promoted content, and we could promote it, right? So the content would come as promoted content. Promote it. Endorse. What is endorsement? So if you look at the Instagram, all those influencers, right, who are selling cosmetics, who are selling different kinds of garments, who are essentially promoting, right? They're promoting, they're endorsing. I use it, you also use it. I find it extremely amazing, you also use it. So if Cristiano Ronaldo says that I use a certain fitness item to maintain my fitness goals and my fitness level, what do you think? What people would do? They would believe in it. They would say, one of the best athletes of the world is one of the best athletes of the world is saying something. Whether he's saying it just for getting money or whether he really uses, we don't know, right? But one of the best athletes is saying that this kind of a fitness equipment is very good. If you're a fitness enthusiast, leverage it. Endorsement. I endorse. I promote this, right? If I say it, people would throw it to garbage, right? People would say, which means my video or whatever. So if I were to promote something on Instagram, which is a fitness item, people would say, hey, who are you? Right? We don't know you even, right? But when they will go to the page and they would see some kind of a slim trim body and whatever, so then they will see, oh, this also is a guy who is some fitness enthusiast. So then that's endorsement, believing in something because someone is trying to prove it that yes, this is good, I use it and it's amazing, it's extremely high quality, right? So that's what endorsement is. The output of my pipeline is consistent, truthful, and high quality. Rather than you repeat and create the wheel again, why don't you use mine? Your downstream requirements might be different from mine, but you need the same data. You need the same sales data to do something else. I need the same sales data to do something else. Use my pipeline. I'm promoting it. I'm endorsing it that I am one of the team leads and I am one of the chief analysts, one of the experienced analysts in a team. I say this is a promoted pipeline. If you want to use this data for some other ad hoc analytics need, use my pipeline and save your time. Don't worry about creating your own. Save your time. I'm promoting it. I can get it certified by the data stewards and data owners and various other people in the company. They would certify that it meets organizational standards and the quality standards and data protection and privacy standards. Then everyone will be mandated to use it. When I promote it, it's not mandatory on them that they should use it. They could create their own. But when I certify something, right, the process of certification is very lengthy, right? Let's not go into the process of certification at this moment. But when we certify, right, then it's extremely important that people use it. It's created and certified by the organization as a trusted source of some data asset. Rather than you creating your own pipeline, use a certified pipeline by senior data analysts. So generally what happens is that colleagues would like to discover using Purview. Let's not go into Purview because it could bring another topic in picture. But there is a tool called as Purview, Microsoft Purview, that is used for discovery process. What do you think? In a very large organization, could you search assets manually? Not at all, not possible. So there is a thing called as Microsoft Purview, right? I would not be able to deploy it. Okay. This Purview allows us the asset discovery. And when you look at its catalog, in the catalog, you would be able to say, I only want promoted and certified assets by my company. I don't want experimental assets of other data analysts. I just want promoted and certified. So the process of promotion is just to say that I want to endorse the quality content so that my colleagues could use it, find value in it, and leverage it. There are various organizations that not only give appraisals on the basis of how you perform, right? There are organizations which also give appraisal. How much did you help your colleague? How much did you help and enable others in the organization? For example, in our context, whatever is your performance, great. How much did you help others? Did you create promoted assets? Did you create certified assets? Did you help others not to reinvent the wheel? That's great. You're saving our time and money, right? So there are organizations who look into these collaboration aspects, enabler aspect, that you are not just a worker in the team, you are an enabler, right? You enable others to work. You create assets that others are leveraging as trustworthy assets, as promoted assets, as high quality assets, right? You are an individual who has created 100 certified assets in last 1 year. You are great, right? You gonna be given a lot of appraisal, not just because you created them, but you helped others to save their time and money. You are an enabler. You are not a worker. You are enabling others. Okay. So endorsement is very important. So that's not a point of discussion at the moment that we are endorsing. That's an option given over here. We would like to schedule it and run it on schedule. You could add a trigger to it. You could say, no, I would like to monitor a certain event, like you upload something in my lake of the organization or in a workspace, like you. So this would be workspace, would not be beneficial. You do something in my blob, right? You do something in my lakes in the Azure, like eCart data objects, right? And what do you do in my blob, right? So you do, let's go to blobs, storage accounts. I'm trying to showcase to you what Fabric offers to you, which is not there in Power BI desktop. If Fabric also offers to you what is in Power BI desktop, then why will you use it? Okay. So Power BI desktop does not give us pipelining. This guy gonna give us pipelining, orchestration. Second, it would allow us to monitor an event and then run the pipeline. So you could say if someone does something here, if someone does something here, what is that? What do they do here? So you see events, you see events here. What event? Let's say event subscription, right? I want to subscribe. Subscribe to what? Someone uploaded data or someone uploaded a folder. A single file was uploaded or a folder containing files were uploaded. Filter event types. Blob was created and a folder was created, a directory was created. If that happens, I want to run the pipeline. I want to run my pipeline. I just don't want to run it on schedule, right? Cancel. I just don't want to run it on schedule every 4 hours or every 3 hours. I just don't want to run it manually. I will hit this button and it will start running. I want to monitor an event, right? Add a trigger, select the source, select events. What do you want to monitor? If that thing happens, we're going to run your pipeline. See, it says in this workspace, this pipeline, we will run it for you and save your output in this workspace as an activator item. Activator means this going to be getting activated if this condition is met. That's called as an activator item. Select the event. What is that event? Events produced by actions on files or folders in the lakes in the Azure. Events produced by actions on files or folders in one lake, such as file was created, deleted, or renamed in one lake. Both of them are extremely important kinds of events. One lake event. A file was created in the one lake, or a folder was created in the one lake. I want to run this pipeline. Or I could say a file was deleted or a folder was deleted. As an example, if that happens, select where it happens. So I say it happens in my Lakehouse, in the files here. If you delete my file or a folder, I would run this pipeline. As an example, okay. Filter conditions by selecting the fields to watch and the alert value. So you have lot of, look at the granularity of it. It could say, you could say only if the time is this, only if the type is this. So this is all filtering. Okay, this is great type of filtering. So you would say next, and then you would save it. So if that happens, so if any file is deleted or any folder is deleted in your fabric, in a particular lake house, which we selected, right? My LKH01. In that, if you delete this, then I'm going to run my pipeline. So let me save this as a activator item that's called as activate pipeline. Neeraj, we know that if something need within the data is updated, then we would need to ask a data engineer, change data capture. Okay. I'm asking analyst. We're talking about an analyst. Data engineering part is done. If you're a data engineer, you would do sophisticated change data capture, slowly changing dimensions. Those are complex pipelines. An analyst does not understand them, right? An analyst is not a data engineer that who would create complex processes and complex pipelines. He wants to get the data. Please understand. An analyst wants to get the data. How can he get it? Manually? Second, he could do simple orchestrations like this. Copy the data from the source to my lakes as files or to the tables. I want to run this now. I want to run it on schedule, or I can monitor something happening in the fabric and then run it. If something changes somewhere, if the data is updated somewhere, that's slowly changing dimension and change data capture. That's the domain of a data engineer. We are asking data analyst. Okay. So a data analyst could do this also. This is these are the features of Fabric that a data analyst would find highly valuable. Okay, I can do this, right? DP700 is for data engineering. DP600 for data analyst. You look at the tools from the perspective of an analyst. Same tools can be used by an engineer also. But engineer would do a data engineering. An analyst would not do data engineering. He would basically implement the same processes that he does in Power BI desktop here. He would like to automate them. His aim would not be that I go here and then create complex pipelines and complex this and oh, let me create SCD type 1, type 3, type 6, and now let me do CDC. That's not data analyst. Data analysts would see, okay, I use Power BI desktop. You want me to work in Power BI service, which is nothing but Fabric. What are you offering to me? Why will I come? You get the data in Power BI desktop? Yes, I get it. Automate that. I can help you automate it. Oh, yes, we are living in the world of automation. Thanks a lot. Please help me automate. You can run these kinds of simple orchestrations. Bring your data into your lakehouse as files or as delta tables. Run them whenever you want them. Schedule them to run as a scheduled workload. Or even the option is given to monitor events, and you could do it on sophisticated events also. Thanks a lot. You're helping me out as an analyst. Analysts would not ask a question. Something has changed in the source, and I want to identify that change, and then I want to load. That's data engineering. That's not data analyst, right? That's data engineering, because in order to identify the source changes and identify and move the source changes, we need change data capture, or we need hashing of the rows and compare the simple hashes. You would have to engineer it to identify, right? So you would have to do incremental loading, you would have to do hashing, you would have to do SHA-256, simple hash algorithm 256 of the rows, or you would have to implement some kind of a CDC. Now, that would not typically be the work of an analyst. That would typically be the domain of an engineer implementing those things, such kind of pipelines, right? Okay, that's the thing. So let's complete this. Let's run this, activate the pipeline, create. So it's gonna create the activator pipeline. Activator, activate this pipeline if those events are met. This is an orchestration. Something happens somewhere, do something else somewhere. Orchestration. I move my hand, you stand up. Orchestration. The music director in the orchestra would control the number of beats by the movement of the hands, right? How many beats are there in a certain piece of music? The music director would just convey it using the movement of the hands. And all those people who are playing the different musical instruments, they are trained to identify it that, okay, this music director who is standing in front of us, he's moving the hands in this way. This means these are the number of beats that we have to follow. Orchestration. The same music director would say, not say just by the movement of the hands, he would tell them that you please stop, you have to play this part, right? And he would control the number of beats, the he would interpret the music, right? He would add emotions into it, he would add a lot of things into, and just by the gestures of his hands and his motion and his eyes, they would just understand. They are trained to know it. The music director not going to say anything, right? Because they are playing the music, those people music instrument they are playing. So the music director not going to say anything from mouth. So how do we know what do you want us to do? How do you want to direct this piece of music? Orchestration. He would orchestrate them, right? Do something when something happens. Orchestrate. So you could also do that as a data analyst. Sophisticated orchestrations will fall into the domain of data engineering, right? We are asking a question as a data analyst that what I do in the Power Query editor, please, in the Power BI desktop, help me out implement in Power BI service, which is this fabric now. That's the primary question. Same tools that you see here can be used by an engineer, but from a different way. An analyst would use them in a different way. He would use them to automate what he does in the Power BI desktop. Right, you see this is ready, the alert has been created. So if these events take place, let's try to test it. Let's see if it happening. If it is happening, delete a file or a folder and this would run this pipeline. That's what we would like to see. The alert will take action when the condition you set is met. You can open the activity with the events. Okay, open that also in a new tab. Let's first duplicate this. Okay, I think it's not showing it here, no worries. Okay, so this is the thing. Let's try to test it out. So let's go to the Lakehouse, delete a folder as an example. Okay. So I would say my file is lost. My file is lost. Then is the pipeline triggered? Is the activator met? Open. Why is it asking me to go to the Power BI service? app.powerbi.com. Let's see it from monitor itself first, whether the pipeline is triggered or not. Monitor. Get data from sources. Succeeded here and here. Looks like the trigger is not created. So the condition for it is met, right? The condition for this is met. Activate a pipeline. Did the alert kick in? Yeah, you see the alert was kicked in. It got an event. Event is here. It says on June 7, 2025 at this UTC, in this source, in this workspace, you deleted, the subject was this and you have deleted it. Okay, and this is all who did it, sequencer URL. So it has identified it. Yes, that has taken place. So if the was the alert triggered, it says yes, alert was triggered. In the last 1 hour, it has triggered it once. It's running, right? It's not stopped yet. So if it is not stopped yet, then this pipeline should kick in. That's what it means. This should, now we are in the app.powerbi.com. It should kick in. Okay, it is identifying that. If it is not kicking, then it would mean some trial environment is playing its role, right? Refresh. It ran last time on 8:15. Did my data pop up again? Oh, where did it come from? Can you see that? It says 8:15, but let's refresh. Sales is here. What about data? Oh, nothing. Yep. It has not run. It has triggered, right? You see the event has been ingested. It says, yes, that event took place. The event has took place in the live feed. It has took place. One row is there. Alert was triggered. One row is there. Activation details are there. And as a part of activation, the action is run the pipeline, get data from source. So why did you not run it? Why did you not run it? It has triggered, right? So if that happens, it would certainly mean that it is because of some issues pertaining to the environment, which is the trial environment. In trial environment, it may not run such things, because if you leave it like this, then it would keep on running, right, on schedule or for the entire 2 months. But we can see that, right? It has essentially said, yes, I have ingested your event that you deleted something. I have alerted also that, yes, you have deleted something, and my action would be to do this. What would it do if I were to test the action? Send a test action from one of the available data points, from one of the available data points. So they're only allowing us to test it from the available data points. Can you see it will not run in the trial environment? In the trial environment, it's not going to run it. Let's see, it's not running in the trial environment, unfortunately. Here it says not started yet. That's because of we are just testing it out. So you could test it, but not run it in the trial environment. Okay, it's a trial environment thing. Here it goes. This succeeds, this will also succeed. We tested it now, just now. So the data would pop up. So it is tested through the event, tested through the event. Okay, tested through the event. And if you observe, it would pop up in our data section again. The file that we had deleted should pop up again. Yep, on 844. Now look at from the perspective of an analyst. You get data in Power BI desktop, yes or no? Yes. You get it manually? Yes. Would you like to get it automatically? Yes. So one option is to do a pipeline, something like this. Let's close the activator. So this is Fabric. Go to Fabric, app.fabric. Okay. So here it is, your pipeline. So you can get the data from pipelines automatically, using pipelines rather. You could automate the process as an analyst. That's what Fabric allows you to do. You could run simple orchestrations. When you talk about complex orchestrations, we are talking about engineering, data engineering, right? Which is not a question that an analyst would ask. Okay. So we're looking from the analyst perspective. Okay. So we could run such activities over here. We could run them whenever we want, or schedule, or on the basis of the events. This is the first part. And all of these are the various connectors that are available. And look at the connectors that are available. Look at the connectors that are available. Connectors. So from any of these places, I as an analyst could bring my data the way I do it in Power BI desktop. That's my question. What I do in Power BI desktop, can I do it here? Absolutely, yes. Better than Power BI desktop? Yes, absolutely. Better than Power BI desktop. Because I can automate, I can run it on schedule, I can... No. Is there a limit on data storage you can bring in Lakehouse? We all know that the limit would be on the basis of the capacity limit, Fabric capacity. You know, every Fabric environment is created on top of a Fabric capacity. So whatever is the capacity limits of the Fabric capacity, that would be the thing. See, Fabric capacity, we are using F64 at the moment. You all know trial capacities are F64 capacities. Admin portal, capacity settings, trial, which is an F64. So if you just ask on Google, Fabric capacity limits, Fabric capacity limits, not limits, limits. Fabric capacity throttling. It would tell you how much is available under what, right? You would have to read all of this. It's a detailed document emphasizing. Fabric capacity matrix app is there through which we can see all of these things. Okay, billable, non-billable compute, metrics app, resize your capacity. So the data sizes are limited not because there is a limited usage. It's limited because of your capacity. How much have you purchased? And you can see these are the billings as far as India is concerned. So these are the charges involved. F64 is F32 above is enterprise grade. This is all dev test. So this is all enterprise grade, which means you can do enterprise grade projects on these capacities. Generally, you would find people leveraging 64 as a baseline, which rounds off to this much INR. You could do it to USD. So not, oh, sorry. See, INR to USD, around about 10,000 US dollars every month you would need. It's an expensive system. It's not easy for non-enterprises to use this. It's for enterprises. We all know, we discussed it in the day one itself, right? That Fabric is not for general masses like you or me. Fabric is a company, a enterprise is using it. 10,000 plus concurrent users, right? 100 plus projects, complex reporting needs, complex orchestration and collaborative needs. They would use this. It's not a tool that I could deploy and I would say, hey, I have deployed a Fabric and I'm enjoying Fabric. No, it's very expensive for non-enterprise people to use it. It's for enterprise. It is targeted towards enterprise. It's not targeted for individuals. Just a second. Looks like the training coordinator is calling me. Thanks a lot. You can see that, right? It's limited by Fabric capacity. It's not limited by anything else. It's just limited by the Fabric capacity, the amount of data that you could bring over here.
I hope this video has given you a clear understanding of what Microsoft Fabric for Data Analysts can offer and how it can take your career to the next level. So if you are ready to dive deeper and boost your career, don't miss out our Azure Data Masterclass on how to become an Azure Data Engineer, Data Analyst, or Data Architect. You can register through the link given in the description below. And before you go, make sure to check out this video next.